Hi, I'm Jim Clark, Visual Arts Manager here at Hopkins Center for the Arts. Today we're speaking with Sanjukta Mitra about her exhibition, The Sacred Presence, inspired by Hindu mythology. Sanjukta, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jim, and thank you for the opportunity. It's always a privilege being interviewed by you.
Oh, you're very kind. You're very kind. This is a magnificent body of work, paintings in mixed media and oil. I think the first impression is, wow, these are intense colors, beautiful, radiant, vibrant jewel tones, as well as some ultra vivid fluorescent pigments. But you say in your statement about the work that the color is not simply used as a design element here. What do you mean by that? How are you using color?
Okay, I wasn't expecting this question right off the bat. But yes, we'll get to it, because that's the first thing that I think anybody who's looking at my painting is absorbing. And even when I am visualizing my abstract concepts, I'm always thinking in terms of colors. Now, there is a bit of juxtaposition that's happening. So if I could just take a couple of steps back, if you look at any of the expressions that I have, either on the human face or on the face of the divine that I'm trying to bring out in my paintings, the expressions are quite understated. Mm-hmm. The expressions in themselves are inner. It's an expression of the inner world, so they are very, very muted. Mm-hmm. But even within that muted language that's going on as an internal dialogue within somebody's consciousness, it is, in my mind, it is fierce. It is larger than life. Mm. It is what fills us in, right? So what I try to balance out on my canvases is I have these muted, understated gazes, but I balance them out with these absolutely, vibrant, bold colors. I don't like to hold myself back when it comes to using these fluorescent, luminous palette. I get extremely drawn to the interplay of vibrancy with the desaturated corners of my canvas. So, for instance, when I was painting this particular painting, here I have Shiva, Lord Shiva, who is creating the rhythm of the universe. So I have a multitude of Shiva who's creating this ongoing rhythm of the universe. When I was visualizing this, there's only one thing that I was clear about, the color. And to me, it had to be the color of the sunrise. So it wasn't yellow as much as it was the sunrise, which is beginning or the creation. And hence I went with that yellow. And you would see, I have violets and I have, again, desaturated, a lot of different blue violets. That is also a color that I perceive when I wake up in the morning along with the yellow, the lemony yellow. So that's the color of that. The very first painting is all red because I'm trying to show the fierceness, the anger, the courage, the fearlessness that's inside us through the color red. There are other colors here, for instance, the bull here. The bull is the greatest devotee of Lord Shiva. And once again, I'm trying to capture elements of fluorescent pink. In my mind, pink emotes devotion. It is not overly stated, so it's not red, it's not fierce, but it is slightly understated version of red, which to me is love, but in the form of devotion. So I've used pink, I've used yellows as the sunrise color there with the blue violet. In this case, for instance, again, I think in terms of colors, this painting is all about dissolution of ego. So when I'm thinking of ego, I'm thinking of the tiger skin, which symbolizes ego, pride, and hence the entire palette is made with that. But with the blue, I'm trying to rise above that. Mm. So that's what keeps going in my mind.
It sounds like as you discuss color and your feelings about color, you're balancing universal color symbolism with your personal associations with color. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
And do you find that as you're is it fair to say interpreting Hindu mythology, that you're playing on established themes that, if not universal, at least devotees of Hindu or practitioners would know, and then things that you are bringing to the table, so to speak?
Yeah.
So is it a weaving of established mythology and personal mythology? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I love journaling, and when you start a painting, you do not have an absolute understanding of why you are drawn to something. Why is that you want to create it or recreate it on the canvas? So this body of work was developed over last 2 years, and over these 2 years, I think I've spent more time journaling than actually painting.
Interesting.
Just trying to understand that what is that I'm truly trying to say. Am I trying to illustrate Hindu mythology? Am I trying to just read the scripture and then just bring out those stories on the canvas, or is there something deeper? So as I keep, interrogating my own self, what I found was, in my last 6 years of the artistic journey, at the heart of everything that I'm doing is spirituality. And in this case, Hindu mythology becomes my vocabulary, my grammar, my visual vocabulary, right?
Yep.
So I am using Hindu mythology and established stories to actually narrate or emote universal principles of human emotions, human experiences, and how we are all connected. So the essence really is spirituality, and Hindu mythology has just become the language for this body of work. In the past, I've worked with Greek mythology.
Yep.
And again, the essence was spirituality. Greek mythology was the language. So I think that's what is happening. End of the day, it's my own quest for spirituality. I think art has become a medium for me to seek spirituality. It's become a medium to find my own inner self, connect with my own inner self. And in that process, I am just trying to understand how mythic consciousness and human experiences can be manifested through these human forms or divine forms. So it's more like the interaction between the human and the divine, if you will, is what I'm trying to project on my canvas, as opposed to just saying Shiva. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
In 2023, when you had the exhibition Spirit of Myth, in conjunction with sculptor James Larson, that body of work was primarily focused on Greek mythology.
Right.
Yeah. Did you find, I'll call it a jump, maybe that's not the right word, but the transition from Greek mythology to Hindu mythology, what drove that? I mean, was there like a switch moment that you were like, I'm done with this, it's time for this? And was it a thought process or more an emotional response?
It's very interesting you asked that question, because I remember driving to my opening reception for the Greek mythology body of work, and in my mind, I was already on to my next series.
Yeah.
So I knew that, I'm going for my opening reception, but now I'm excited about, I can't wait to get back to my studio because I want to paint Shiva. And the answer lies in spirituality again. Yeah. I think Greek mythology got me started, but I think I was not even scratching the surface. It got me started on the path of spirituality, and I was just beginning. So I was looking for some divinity, the presence of divinity within us. Yeah. Me, you, everybody, and how we are all connected. So the themes when I was working on Greek mythology was about the infinite me, for instance, right? So how are we all sort of connected at the deepest level? And as I kept forging forward on the same path, the answer always led me to the divine within. It's not the divine outside; it's the divine within. And then I stumbled upon a vocabulary that I grew up with, So I think what's really happening is, and all the artists here might be able to resonate with this, is that as I'm progressing in this journey, I'm really just shedding my exteriors. That's what is happening. Slowly and slowly, I'm just owning who I am on the canvas unapologetically.
Yeah.
And I ask myself, what gets me excited? So when I go to India or even a church here, those carvings on the wall, those aesthetics, that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can do that, I can create that endlessly, so why not create it on my canvas? And that becomes my energy field that I start with. That becomes my memory field in this case, because that's what I grew up with. So I don't know if I digressed. I don't even know in my mind what you had asked.
Yeah, wonderfully. We're going on a journey. And I think you've touched on this a bit, but I'm curious to hear more. It sounds like the work is getting more and more personal. You're doing the work to satisfy your needs, but you are sharing it with the world as well. And as you pointed out, they're not illustrations of Hindu myth. They're inspired by Hindu myth. And if a viewer, for instance, doesn't have a foundation of knowledge in Hindu myth, or in the Greek myth of the previous series, for instance, do you consider what you want the viewer to walk away from? Like the experience, your ideal experience for the viewer, or do you walk away and say, I have got what I wanted out of this experience. It's now up for other people to do what they will.
Yeah.
Where do you land?
Absolutely. Because the genesis of each of these paintings actually is the emotion that I'm trying to deliver on the canvas. So I actually start by saying that, okay, what is the next emotion, what is the next milestone or the next pilgrimage in my mind in the inner journey that I want to reach?
Sure.
Let's say, I haven't conquered any of this myself, but let's say it is dissolution of ego. Let's say it is dissolution of pride. Let's say it's rising above it all.
Yeah.
So that's the message. That's a universal message, right? Irrespective of the background, the culture.
Yeah.
And now, because this is the Hindu mythology body work that I'm working on, I go back to reading Hindu mythology and find out an episode or a story that can help me narrate an incident where Lord Shiva, in this case, got rid of ego, conquered, did not kill it, but mastered over it. So hence this painting was born.
Yeah.
Another painting that was born out of the emotion of how the cycle of the life works. You create in the past, you maintain it, you live in the moment, you enjoy the moment, and then you transform in the future. You are not worried about the future, but you gotta be in the moment. Now, if that is the emotion that I want to represent, I go back to Hindu mythology and I find the dance of joy, Ananda Tandav, and hence this painting is born.
Yeah.
So all these paintings are actually, the roots are into the emotion that I'm trying to tell, and the story from Hindu mythology is helping me deliver that story. So that's if you will.
And if I'm hearing correctly, like a viewer that does not have a foundation in these myths, if they feel something akin to what you were feeling as you were making it, that's an ideal goal?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely. My ideal goal is, how I define my success when I work on commissioned pieces is if my viewer came into my studio and cried. That fills my heart with joy. I'm like, okay, I got it. You got to cry. So if somebody didn't cry, I'm like, nope, I didn't hit it.
What does that feel like?
I think that's why we are artists, because
Yeah.
you just cannot explain it. You just cannot. Either it is through art that you can express it, or it is through joy, through tears.
Yeah.
And I think even for my collectors or for my viewers, it is hard for them to express what they feel when they look at these paintings, and they feel something. They feel something that brings them back home sometimes, or they get answers. Sometimes I've had people who've responded to my canvases saying, I think I got my answer. I think I'm listening to the world a little too much. I got to listen to myself. You know, and the canvases have delivered those messages. I think that's a win. Because every canvas here, I feel, is to unlock maybe something it's to unlock an answer, it's to unlock a question, or it's to ask a question, or it's to just kind of investigate into an area.
We really started with the poetics of the work, like the heady, conceptual and emotional soup that you're working in. But if we could get a little bit more nuts and bolts and kind of how the sausage is made. Many of the works, if not all of them, appear to me, and you can correct me, that they have a unified color as an underpainting that serves as the plinth on which everything else is based.
Yes.
Is that true?
Absolutely.
And the choice of color happens how? Does it just come to you like a bolt from the blue, we'll say? Or is it strategic and you're playing off of your personal and universal color attributes?
I think it's such a mixed bag.
Yeah.
There are times when I have an absolute clarity into the color scheme that I'm going with. There are times when it completely backfires, it doesn't work, and the canvas sits in my studio forever, and I sleep over it, and then one day, boom, I know what I have to do.
Yeah.
So there are all kinds of examples. This one here, I knew the color right off the bat.
Yeah.
So the yellow was the sunrise, symbolic of the sunrise. I knew no matter what I do, in the end of the day, the essence has to be of sunrise, of creation, of a beginning. That one there was a very, very complex composition for me because there's a lot of yellows and reds and oranges. But I wasn't trying to deliver anything aggressive, nor was I trying to deliver anything fierce or violent. I was trying to deliver love, actually. So there are masculine figuratives at the bottom, and then there is this supreme feminine divine force that emerges out of it. And somewhere in the beginning, when I started off with the yellows and the oranges, and I stepped back, I'm like, no, you know, when I step 20 feet away, the energy that I'm getting is not the energy of love. So I had to go back and, you know, repaint all my reds into purples and red violets to create that, you know, that romance or that softness into the canvas. And then there are paintings that have multiple color schemes going into it. There's one where there are 5 heads of Shiva, and each of those heads actually symbolize 5 different elements of the nature. So there is water, there is fire, there is sky, space, there is wind, all of those colors. Now, how do I bring that cohesive palette together? So I slept over it for like 4 months. It wouldn't come to me until just one final day. So yes, I think sometimes I'm very intentional, and I think most of the time that's how it is. I'm very intentional about the color, but there are times when I just let it organically fold and let the canvas guide me with what I need to do, where I need to go next.
How often do the works just spill out? You start, it's just clear sailing, you wrap up and you're like, wow, that was, I'm going to say easy. It's never easy, but that felt effortless. How often does that happen?
I so wish. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you can relate to this. Every painting is like you are killing your demons every time.
Everyone.
Every time. Every time. It's not like I have conquested a couple of things, so I'm good with that. Now, next painting, I'm an evolved person. No, I start at the kindergarten level every single time I attempt a new canvas, right? So,
at any level, do you feel like that's a strength, or do you strive to someday tamp that out and achieve a space of relative ease and effortlessness?
I think the biggest challenge is, how do I protect my quiet place from which, I can paint?
Yeah.
Because, for instance, tonight when I go back to my bed, I am going to just have Jim and everybody in my dreams, right? There's like so much going on. How do I make sure that tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'm again completely quiet and I'm ready to start painting? I'm in my zone. I think that's really one of the biggest challenges that I feel as an artist that you are trying to balance. And can you repeat your question one more time?
Oh, only that right now, each and every work is a struggle.
Oh, yeah.
And do you relish that struggle, or do you aspire to getting to a point of ease, of expression? Like it just comes, you paint it out, you're done, you move on to the next one. Or do you relish that struggle?
Wow. I wish I had that clarity, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the clarity of what I want.
Yeah.
I know that I think I've started accepting the fact that there is never going to be a place of ease.
Yeah.
Because the day I hit that place, I'm going to get bored. And that's happened because I'm going to talk in a very simplistic language here. Like sometimes
Please.
Sometimes you're trying to master a specific technique. And that's what actually drives me. That today I'm going to go to the studio and this is what I'm going to try, and with the mindset of being able to master it. But as soon as I feel I got good with this, that's it. It loses charm. I don't want to do that anymore.
Sure.
So I have realized it's a good place to be struggling. You are good. It's going to constantly push me. But it's a very, very uncomfortable place. There is this mental dialogue that constantly goes on. And it is not easy to kind of silence that thought. It is very difficult.
Yeah.
But I try.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've stopped aspiring, to your question, a state of bliss.
Well, we start nuts and bolts, and then we're back into heady, conceptual, emotional things, which you can't escape when you're working in this sandbox, we'll say. But related to the complexity of your compositions, the content, and that ever struggling with developing a work, do you start with a pretty fully conceived idea of what you want the final object to look like? Do you use any preparatory drawings? Do you do any photo montages, for that matter? Do you work from photographs at all for your references?
Yeah. I do. Sure.
I feel like I see your husband in one or two. Is he?
I'll reveal a few stories.
Yes. Walk us through like the very origins of your idea for a piece and what it looks like. And if you draw it out on a piece of paper first, or draw it out on a canvas, what does that look like?
Yeah. So over the last 6 years, I have tried multiple things. Somebody told me that you're going to gain speed if you have your composition ready. You could either use a software or you could draw it yourself. So you will gain a lot of speed, you're not going to waste time, and you'll be able to develop your canvases in no time. I tried that. I made 5 different references for myself. It was such a drag.
Yeah.
I hated going to the studio because there was no surprise left for me.
Yeah.
Everything was out there. I wasn't excited about those compositions at all anymore. So I realized, okay, this formula doesn't work for me. The second thing that I tried was creating idea boards for myself. So in the beginning, my idea boards were more of researches that I did. I stumbled upon some really amazing images, and that became my idea board. And then I would sit down just on my regular sketchbook, and I would bring elements from the idea board, depending on what I'm trying to say, in that composition, and I would put them together, and then that's one initial sketch I would do. The next one would be about the colors, the way I would like to play it out. So maybe just using some crayons and stuff sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
And then for some of my bigger compositions, I would actually try it out on a small little canvas, like a thumbnail, and just get the colors in there to see if it's all working out well or not. But
do you ever develop those into finished works of their own? The small?
No.
Never?
No.
Always just studies?
Yes, they're always studies. I mean, for this one, I was torn between a couple of different color schemes, and I tried all of them. An absolute loose, layout of the bull in those paintings. But over the years, I've also realized that I don't find much on internet anymore, because everything that I'm again trying to narrate has to be me. So now what I'm doing is I've just become more mindful of little things in life, and every time I feel something of that sort is happening, which really resonates with my inner world, I note it down, I take a picture, and I start recording that.
Yeah.
And now I feel I've developed this inventory of a lot of those things.
Sure.
And I sometimes like to build these, create these rubber stamps, out of those little motifs that speak a lot to me, and then I keep reusing them over canvases. My husband comes to rescue every time I'm struggling with my figures.
What's that like?
So for this painting, I got it, I think I had everybody, all the 3 images, but I was struggling with the face. So here my husband, after a hearty lunch, I request him that please come. So he stood in front of the canvas and I made him pose. I was like, are you sure you want to do this? I was like, absolutely, I have no other way now. So he did that. But this is the thing, as an artist, I can change some of the things on the face when I'm painting him. I don't know, I don't feel like changing.
Yeah.
I felt like just going with what I was really seeing.
Sure.
And for a lot of these, for a lot of the divine forms that look very human, I love working with models who are my friends, who are dancers, because the emotions that they can orchestrate is just, it speaks to me.
Sure.
So I love getting the human skin and flesh and tone. Not this one, but the dancer there, for instance, the women profile there, that is a real person. So that's how I work.
In their mixed media in oil, they're rich with texture, both visual texture, like the feathery tendrils of your brushwork on this one, Transcendence. In Anda Tanda, you've got visual texture, but also tactile physical texture built up with, I imagine, the mixed media element. Can you tell us about that? Because some of these textures appear to be stamped, and others are kind of combed on, brushed on, pushed around. Why mixed media, and how do you approach those textures?
Yeah, I think, like I said, it sort of again goes back to me not liking things that are overly planned. I love these little surprises, and for more often than not, actually most often than not, they come in these, they surprise me when I'm working on my canvas. So actually all these texture that you see are built much before the imagery comes into play. It is built, it is actually been created in the first couple of sessions on the canvas when I'm just trying to evoke the energy on the canvas. So like that painting had, when I started off, I had all the colors, the yellows and the oranges and the reds that I was playing, and I like to spread out all my favorite tools, because at that point I have started believing in my instinct now. I've started believing that what I'm thinking is sane. There was a time I would question it, but now I say to myself that if I feel like holding on to that one tool, which is probably like a comb or something, I'm going to do that. If I feel like holding on to a straight edge tool that you would use for painting, I would get that. So I take all those tools, I sit down, put some music, and I put my colors, and that's how my canvases begin. That's the base layer, that's the energy layer. In my mind, it already has the energy that I'm eventually going to deliver onto the canvas without the imagery.
Do you ever curse yourself when you're in the process? Like, why did I put this texture here on this?
Yes. Yes.
Because, I mean, it was
only an inch of it,
Yeah.
it would have made sense.
Yeah.
But right at the nose, no.
And do you ever scrape it off at that point, or?
And it's probably too late.
Yeah, you just deal with it.
I
you
just
respond
deal with
to
it. Yes.
Spectacular.
Yeah, but I think I still want to go with that absolutely loose, free way of laying my colors in the beginning, not knowing. There are some canvases I did not know what I was going to paint on top of it. So I laid out multiple canvases and started with an extremely abstract landscape, and once I had those landscapes, that's when I went back to my idea board and I tried marrying what I saw in my idea board with which canvas it would go to.
Sure.
So I love that. I enjoy that process of challenging myself.
It's
and
a
not
good
being
part,
planned.
right?
Yeah. I look forward to that.
Marvelous. Let's open it up to questions.
I always have questions. As I listen to you talk about the mythology and your personal devotion and growth that you're trying to achieve, you talk about rising above pride and your ego. How do you wrestle how much of your ego is going to go in versus how you back off and let the work itself appear on the canvas? How do you manage that balance? Or do you?
Oh my gosh, that's profound.
Insightful questions, right?
Yes. I think it is, it comes with being a human, that you are a summation of all of these negative emotions, right? You have all of this within yourself. You have pride, you're gonna envy, all of that, right? And this whole thing of insecurity, and how would people respond to my painting? I think 6 years back when I was painting, I was not even aware that I'm thinking, how would people respond to my painting? Today, I'm aware. I'm aware that I am thinking this way. And so when I am aware of that situation, or in that moment when I am aware that, I'm making the face like this because I want people to say, that's a beautiful face. The moment I feel I'm thinking in those lines, I back off. That's something I'm putting into practice. So for me, I feel, and this is something I keep saying, that, I don't know, I heard it somewhere else as well, that once a musician composes a song and the song is out there, it is for the world. It's not, the musician doesn't own the song anymore. I feel the same with my paintings. It could be because of the messages that I'm trying to deliver and it's not an observational drawing, that I feel like once it's there, it's for you to interpret it. So you're going to use your own lens. So my moment is only the moment that I'm actually painting. So I would rather be as authentic and as honest as possible with my canvas and not do something to impress somebody else. And it's a muscle. I'm constantly working on it. But the good news is that I'm aware of how, at least for most part, how I'm thinking in that moment. So does that answer?
Great answer.
I'm gonna. While they're thinking, I've got to follow up to that. How can you not feel intense pride when people respond to the works as they did, like at the reception, right? I mean, is there a friction there?
I'll be really honest. I was painting on that really big canvas, 60 by 60 inches, and that was my final painting. And while I was working on that, I developed a frozen shoulder. And the way I thought about it was that, I had this massive plan, an ambitious plan. Maybe I wasn't even prepared. I didn't know what I was signing up for.
Yeah.
You're right. And so out there, the supreme, being who's there, he's going to put me to test. He's not going to be easy on me. I am dreaming of something that big. He's gonna make a painful journey out of it.
Yeah.
And only if I'm resilient and if I persevere, that's when I'm gonna get it. So what happened was, after I developed all the characters that you see in that painting, I was only left with the face of the feminine figure that you see. And with the frozen shoulder, I brought the canvas down, but even with that, it was still a little bit high for me. So I would put a stool, put my palette somewhere on a lower pedestal, and then, the face is like about here. At that moment, there was a lot that was going on in my mind. Am I gonna get her right? I'm looking for this emotion, and I actually did not have an exact reference for that face. I had multiple references, and I was looking at delivering an expression that was a summation of all those expressions that I was seeing. It was an expression of somebody who would protect us, somebody who loves us, all of that, compassion, bravery, all of it put together. I painted, and I got her. And the moment I got her, I stepped back. I just tore down. I cried profusely. And I thanked God at that moment that this cannot be me. This was just delivered through me. This was a vision. I sought it. Because I'm constantly seeking, and it was just channelized through me. So I think somewhere I feel that because I'm constantly seeking, and I am working on my craft, because these ideas are everywhere. You seek it, you will get it, right? So I feel I'm just a channel, and that makes me always feel like, okay, it's been created, it's not mine anymore. It makes me feel grateful for what I'm able to create. So I don't think the pride has seeped in at all, because like I said, every canvas is a painful journey.
Yes.
So tomorrow morning I start, I'm going to probably fail miserably. So you never reach the peak, right? So
Totally.
Okay, I have a question about how you go about doing your paintings. In that you've kind of answered it already, but some artists have a concept, they have an idea, and they just start putting color and paint and whatever, and they refine down to what they want. Some start out with a particular reference and work their way out. Do you find that if you have a reference and you have a concept, do you find that you start with the reference and then kind of build the rest of it, or does it all kind of change and grow as you're starting with the reference?
right. I think light plays a very big role in my painting. So the luminosity and the light that I'm talking about. So the first thing of course, there are multiple references, and then there are visuals that will just come into play because of my initial abstract, loose, when I start playing out with colors, all of that will slowly kind of come together. But I never quite start with the reference. I start with the light. Because if you have, like, let's say 10 different references in your idea board that you want to use in some capacity or the other on your canvas, but all those 10 different references have very different light sources and whatnot. So for me to bring all of them together in a cohesive manner, I cannot start with one reference and then start putting all the other references in conjunction with that. I instead start with the source of light in my canvas. And then I start bringing, it's almost like directing a movie. I start bringing characters that conform to that direction of light for me, or the story that I want, right? So that's how I typically like to go. And I slowly add my characters as the story builds.
Okay. The other question and then I'll let somebody else ask. These are mostly large canvases, and sometimes artists have a particular size, like some of them even miniatures, and some smaller and some large. Do you find that when you're working on a particular size canvas, that your thought goes to that size canvas. I don't know if this is making any sense. Or if you want it to be more grandiose and you have more thought, do you abandon that canvas and start with a bigger one that's going to give you more room to work up to your concept?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great question.
Oh, good.
And it is because it is something that has to be considered at the very beginning of conceptualizing itself, right? So if I am going with a story that has multiple dimensions and many characters, I would definitely choose a larger canvas. And more often than not, I like to work on bigger canvases because I feel this is my problem. There's too much energy. That's my problem. So I try to actually tame it. I try to slow myself down. And that's why I start with a lot of energetic, color splashes and all of that, and slowly wind it down. And for me to be able to do that, I need a large play field. I cannot contain myself on smaller canvases. It's hard for me. That's more of a personality thing, I feel. So I like large canvases because I feel I can do things and hide them and it won't be not noticed. I have fun on larger canvases, yes.
Sanjukta, I had one question, and that is because, being an artist myself, so I delve a little bit in, not in paintings, but capturing the essence of paintings, and in photography and all that. And of course, as you mentioned, that light does play a very important role, the shadows and how the lighting is happening and all that. So when it comes to a canvas, right, do you kind of start anywhere, and then, it kind of develops into it, or you start from a point and then you spread out when you're painting, or, something is coming from here? Because as an example, if I look at this painting of Shiva, right? So there are different emotions which are captured out there. There is an emotion of complete bliss, right? But at the same time, that bliss is also personified in very different manner. So like the expressions which are actually portraying from each and every emotional, the way you have captured that. So like if we were to just take this painting as a reference, just to get an insight into what's actually happening in your mind, so you would have started somewhere, right? And then you progress from there, or things come on this side, so let's have something out here. So it's like developing all around.
I think that specific one, I was just talking about it, that actually gave me a hard time. So I developed that over about 3-4 months because there were just so many different elements and I had to bring them together. But in the beginning, when I'm just building the undertone, I don't stick to a specific place. I loosen up completely and I go with my heart, I go with the music that I'm listening to, and I allow myself not to be technical at that point. Mm-hmm. I allow myself to just, if you will, literally meditate on the canvas.
Meditate. Yeah, so
my
that's
hands
the word,
move
right?
Based on the music that I'm listening
right.
to. And I sometimes, if I know what is that I'm trying to paint on that canvas, I will be intentional about the music I choose. It could be a fast-paced music or it could be meditative. It totally depends on what's the overall energy. Is it bliss? Is it consciousness? Is it high energy? And I try to move that way. On the canvas.
Right.
And once I have the layout, the canvas guides me. I believe in it. Because it's hard when I'm starting on a white canvas, maybe that's when I'll have to be really planned. But once I have that layout, I have that landscape, I have an abstract composition, I start seeing my things. And then it just tells me where I need to start.
So it's like the canvas is talking to you. There is a conversation which is happening.
Absolutely.
With each and every stroke also, right? Which every stroke of color, so like an emotion, there's an emotion behind each and every
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you for asking that question.
Okay, when you were talking earlier about when you're in one, when you're doing for a series and you're really into that, and then you get another concept and then you get all excited about doing another series or something. When you're working, do you ever, since it's oil paint, do you ever get to working on something and then something else starts popping up and you start that canvas and maybe have 2 or 3 going and you'll be really in the zone having fun, and then you need to go back over and work on that other one? Do you bounce back and forth with emotions? Okay.
Yeah, totally. I work on multiple canvases simultaneously, and this is also something that over the time I've realized keeps me going. I don't lose momentum with this because every day is different. There are days when I wake up and I'm like, it's a high energy day. I want to stand, wear my sports shoes and play around. But then there are days when I want to just sit down, crisscross, and just work with a quill or something and do some finer details. So I have a canvas at every stage. I have work planned for every day. That's what I try to do. So, because I've realized, you can get a little burnt out on the same canvas. You came a long way and now all the details are left and you're like, I'm tired today, right? I want to just play around. So that's when I pick up another canvas and just have some fun with the colors, or I journal, or I look for references. So I go back and forth a lot. I've also realized that while I'm painting on one canvas, and let's say I had a question on the other canvas and I've shelved it, this canvas gives me an answer for that question, right? And that is the moment you're living for, right? So it's like, okay, there you go. Now I know what I need to do. So there are paintings that were sitting there for a year. It just didn't feel complete. It looked good to anybody who walked in, but it didn't feel complete to me. But I got the answer while I was working on something else. Go back, finish it off. So, yeah. Yes. And just to add, every painting that I have come up with here, especially the ones that are not portraits of women alone, the ones that have the divine stories, none of this was all planned at one go. I never sat down and I made a list of 10 paintings that I'm going to go for. For me, I feel like every painting propelled me to the other painting. So when I was working on one painting, I reached a point in that painting in my spiritual journey, or in terms of the roadmap of questions that I have, got the answer. It's like peak to peak. You reach, you start seeing the other one. In this case, every painting led me to the other painting. Yeah.
So you did Greek mythology, Hindu mythology.
This was my question. Do you have anything bubbling up for what's next?
I think, I
What were you thinking about as you drove here to this reception? That was my question, Jeannie.
Well, I'll be honest. I had 3. My mom, my in-laws, all of them were there in the car, and I'm like, look, if you guys fall asleep, just get up and start walking. I will know. So that is what was running in my mind today. But no, it's been running in my mind for a long time now.
Yeah.
I want to go deeper.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm even scratching the surface. I wanna paint something that when I personally look at, I feel like the divine is within me. I don't think I've gotten there. So I think somewhere I touched it with one painting. So it feels like that painting is creating a segue for me now. But I'm going to go deeper, irrespective of what mythology I pick. I'm just going to go deeper into that. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a nice spot to stop.
Yep.
Sanjukta, thank you so much for sharing your work with our community.
Thank you. Thank you.